Hi children, welcome to Eclid Learning. So this is the grade 8, 6th chapter, the workbook playlist. So if you haven't watched my previous videos, there are a separate playlists from grade 6 onwards for the textbook and the workbook. And regarding this grade 8, chapter 6, there is a separate playlist for the textbook. So please go and refer the chapter 6 of the textbook because all the theory parts are done there. And in this video, I will be only discussing about the workbook activities, and it will be mostly a practical session. So first get the theories, and then try these activities by yourself, and then come back and watch this video. So this is grade 8, chapter 6, internet, right? So this is the last workbook video we will be having. So in activity 6.1, these are basically some theory parts they are covering here. So let us surf the internet to gather information for the lesson, right? So I think as you are watching this video, surely you have access to internet and you have already know these things. So we'll discuss and see, right? So to access internet, you need a computer or a mobile phone, and usually these internet facilities, right, are provided by the ISP. ISP means Internet Service Providers, for example, like Dialog, SLT, Mobitel, Airtel, Hutch, right? So those people are the internet service providers. So first of all, we should purchase a kind of a package, right, for the to access internet. Otherwise, we cannot access internet. And then you should install internet browser. Right, software. It's a software you have to install. So, usually if you get Windows, we have Microsoft Edge or Internet Explorer installed already in your machine. But if not, you have to use those kind of web browser and then try to download something else. Like if you want like Google Chrome, you have to download it and use it, right? So what is internet browser? Right. So you usually students get confused, especially with Google and Google Chrome. They think it's the same. No, Google is a search engine, right, where you go and search things. But Google Chrome is the web browser. So without a web browser, you cannot, as the user, you cannot go and connect to internet. So to connect to the internet, we need a web browser. So here we can see some logos like Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Internet Explorer, Conqueror, Opera, Safari. There are so many web browsers. The most popular one I'm using is like Google Chrome. So it depends on your requirement, right? And this is about the search engine, what I have already told you. So a search engine is different from a web browser, right? So first of all, you should have a web browser, and from the web browser, you can use a search engine, right? So search engine is basically to explore information on the internet because now we cannot remember all the URLs of the website. So if you know the website URL, you can directly type it on the address bar and access that. But if you don't know, because there are so many resources now, for example, if you want to find about elephants, uh, you can use a search engine, right? So when you type the keyword, it will find information for you. So these are few search engines like Google, Yahoo, Bing, like that. So which helps you to find things in the internet, right? So when you surf the internet, right, first you need to have a web browser, and then based on the web browser, you can see what is the web page and all, right? So this is about how to do a searching, right, using a search engine. I know these things you have already done, but let me quickly recap these things. So first of all, you have to type the first word or the keyword, we call it. So you have to type the keyword, right? So usually when you type like history, it will give a lot of topics which helps you. Like for example, you may be searching like kind of history of India, right? History of Sri Lanka. Oh, I don't know. So when you type the first word, it will help you to find the relevant uh, topic as well, right? Uh, So when you're searching, right, if you go for the all option, that means it will give all search results, all types of information. But if you want only the images, you can go for this one. If you want only videos, If you only want to have news relating to that, if you want to know about map locations and all, so you can uh, find which menu you want to go with, right? So it will like help you to uh, minimize the unwanted stuff, right? Remove the unwanted stuff. So this is one of the uh, search engines. We can type like elephants, right? And it will give all these kind of results, right? So here can you see the menus I talked about. Now, if you want only images, you can go with that tab, right? So all the images now, for example, if you are doing a kind of a report, if you want some image, you can just do like that and get the particular image, right? Okay, so activity 6.2, exploring information from websites for educational purpose, right? Now you should know already in the internet we have so many websites, right? So many categories, right? So this is basically for the education purpose. So like e-Takshilava, like that. Uh, Now from the e-Takshilava you can get a lot of videos kind of things, and in here we can download the textbooks, right? Education publication department, like that. These are few important websites for the educational purpose. So this is not the only thing. Like if you think about YouTube also, there are so many YouTube channels which helps you for your education, right? So internet is a huge collection of resources. So you can uh, use that accordingly, right? Based on your requirement, right? Okay, activity 6.3, creating a web page. Identify the suitable software. If you wish to use images for the website, first you have to find it and save it. Then you can quickly do that, but it's not the must to do. But while we are doing the web page also, we can find the images, right? Uh, Save all the created web pages in the same folder, because then I will tell you when you're accessing the images, it's easier, but it's not a must, right? You can say keep your images anywhere and you can give the absolute path and all. But if you keep all the web pages and images in the same folder, it's a bit easier, right? Okay, so this is the page we are going to develop, right? So a web page, right? So for that, you can use different softwares, right? Now, when I'm working as a professional developer, I'm not using Notepad. Why? Because it's not very easy to develop complicated websites using those notepads and notepad plus plus, those kind of text editors. So we have like Visual Studio, like Visual Code, we have NetBeans, like that, some kind of a like complicated IDEs to develop these web pages. But for you, you can easily go with Notepad. It's a text editor, so open up the Notepad, right? For that, you can go for the search and find the notepad, right? So this is the notepad. So initially, we are going to do a HTML development, right? So you have to start with the HTML tag, right? And remember, all the HTML tags will have a closing tags as well. This is not a must, but this is a good practice, right? So these things, the theory part we have already covered. So I will not explain each and everything in very detail, but we'll do this practically and see. Then inside the HTML document, we should have a head and a body, right? So this is the head starting tag and head ending tag, right? So inside the head, right, always try to write or the type down the uh, closing tag. Also in the exam, also if you have the paper, like you can keep some space and write the ending tags. Then it's easier, right? So usually in the head, we have the title tag, right? So this title is not visible inside the web page. I will show you how it will appear. It's actually appear in the title level. We'll see how it will look like, right? Okay, so then we should give a proper uh, name, right? We should give a proper name for the title, right? Then you are going to save it, right? And they are asking you to save this file as beast.html. So this file extension is very important, because if you just save it like a text file, you cannot view this in a web browser. Right? So hope you remember, in a file, you have a file name and the file extension. And file extension is very important because it's the one which decides which application software this is going to be used. So let me save this. So I'm going to save it here with this particular extension. Can you see? So yeah. Then they're asking you to open the folder and then you try to click it and double click it and open it. Right? So we'll see how this will look like. So I will double click and going to open it up. Yeah, I double click that one and I open it up. Can you see the title here? Right? It's not in the body. That's why you have to understand title will be in the head section. So it will be coming here. Okay. Yeah. Then they're asking you to go for the body part, right? Head part and the body part, right? Okay. So in the body part, they're asking you to have a header, right? So headers will be like H1, H2, H3, like the up to H6, where H1 will be the bigger header, right? So you can try this out. Don't just try H1. Try with H2, H3 and see how it will look like, right? So always these tags should be closed, right? So H1 header has been added. So then we have to save this file save, or you can press Control S. And then you go for this particular page and refresh it. See, refreshing you can do with this as well, right? So then you can see the body is now having a H1 header. Okay, so they were trying different headers as well. So let me show you with there are actually you can do like this H1, H2 up to H6. So H2, this is H3, H4, and like this, right? Okay. So let me refresh. See, the H1 header is the bigger header. This is the H6 one, right? So that is how it will looks like. Okay. We'll remove these things because it's not relevant for this particular thing. And here they have used another tag called center. So if you want to center, now in the early example you saw it was like left aligned. But if you want to make it centered, you have to use this center tag, right? So it will be centered. So I will again save this and I will refresh. See, it's centered, right? Yeah. Now they're asking you to add an image. So first of all, you get some image for the bees, right? So if you get some, now I also got some image like from the internet, you just get the image, right? So it will have some file extension, right? So if you want, you can save like this as it is, right? When you're downloading, you can save it b1.png like that. So make sure it's not a very big image, but yeah, can get whatever you want, right? Okay, so usually an image will have some attributes, right? So source is kind of a must, but other things you can have it if you want or not. So width, length, width and height will be there, right? So, okay, now we'll see how to do this. So we have the H1 tag, and then after that, they have used the center. So they have want to center the image as well. That's why they have centered it, right? Okay. So inside the center tags, we should have this particular image, right? So image will have a source, right? B is one. Actually, there is a printing mistake in the name. So you put whatever the name you have, right? So it's actually B1. That's what my image is, right? So you have to have the name of your image and make sure your web page and the image are in the same place. Otherwise, you cannot give the source like this. You have to give the path accordingly, right? But you can give the path like relatively or absolutely. Absolutely means like full path you are telling, like in the C drive, in this place, like that, or relatively. Now that means now if you are in the you are the web page, you have to think like that. So if you are putting it in a different folder like images, you have to tell, okay, I am in the location of the web page. Compared to that, you have to go to images slash then the image name. So that is relatively giving, or absolutely you can give the full path of the image also. Then also it will fine, right? And height and width you can give in different ways, right? Please uh, study these things. Go and refer more and understand. You can give the pixels or like that. So here it's about as a percentage only we are giving, right? Okay. Now let me show you how it looks like. Now, can you see my web page and image are in the same folder level? So I can just tell, okay, my image source is just the name, image name. But if I put my image into a folder like images, inside this I am having the images. So you have to relatively give, okay, uh, from my web page, you have to access the images slash p1.png. You have to relatively give the path. Or you can absolutely give path like this as well. Okay. Then it will find the image directly from the absolute path. So like that you can do. So, so let me refresh. So this is the image which is centered, right? So this height and width, pixel levels or percentage level like that you can adjust to make a better view, right? Okay, then they're asking you to add a paragraph, right? So P is for the paragraph thing. So here I have copied from the earlier exercise. So I will type all this uh, thing. So I have copied the paragraph. Okay, so after that, again, what we have to do is you have to save this and then Control S and then you have to refresh. Refresh so you can see the paragraph which is centered, right? Paragraph. Yes. So then they want to make the paragraph with H3 headers. So that's why they have included here H3 tag. So you have to open it up and you have to close it before the paragraph tag like this. Okay. So let me refresh and see. Yes. Then they're asking you to add another line. It's the last sentence. It should be H4. Like this. More about bees, right? And then you can add font, like font type, font color, font size. You can do different changes for the font. Font means the letters, right? So, for example, what they have done was for the H1 header, they have added some font color, right? So there are attributes like this size and for the colors and the type and all. So you can have simple colors like red, blue like that also. So navy is another color. So these color codes you can find it easily. And if you want, you can give with the hexadecimal code, like think very unique color, like it's not the peach or it's a mix of peach, pink. Uh, there are so many colors in the world. So if you want to give like like a mix of a colors rather than a primary color, you can basically give the hexadecimal code as well. So please find this thing in the internet and try yourself. I'm just helping you uh, with possible things you can try out, right? So for the title, you are using the navy font color, and I can say in the for the paragraph, they are basically using the font color green. So this is kind of a basic color. Font color is green. Otherwise, you will think always I have to give a text like this, green, blue, like that. No, you can give the hexadecimal code as well. And please remember to close it after you open it up after H3 tag. And now we are going to close that particular font, right? And for the H4 header also, they are basically adding a font color red. Right? Okay, so let me save this and refresh. So different colors were added. Yeah, then about 6.4, this is the new web page they want to have, right? So for that, basically, step one, add the following as shown in the web page, name of the page, title, and images, right? So with that knowledge, what you gained previously, they're asking you to uh, fill the basic things. Then they will tell new things what we can do here, right? Yeah, so HTML, you have to close this. I will quickly type this because this part you already know. Then we have the head. Yeah, closing it. And we have the body. We close it like that. I will quickly have this particular thing. Yeah, so this is the basic notepad. Let me save this. So they're asking you to save it as these facts, HTML, right? Okay, then they're asking you to add a list. So if you remember to add a list, we can use this either UL or OL tags. So UL means unordered list and OL means ordered list. So this is just a bullet form we need. So we can go for with the unordered list, and for the list items, we have to use LI, right? So font we already know. to add a color for the letters, I to make it italic, and H3 is to have some headers, different sizing of the text, right? So these are the basic facts they need to add. So we'll see what they have basically done. So the head part is okay with the title, and body part we have the center, and we have uh, already done the font colors for the interesting fact thing, right? And then we have the image. We have to have the image tag. There are two images. Can you see? The first one is the honey image, and then we have the flower image, right? So we have two images. That's also we have done, right? So we should download two images for the honey and the flower, right? So remember that. Um, then it is actually these two are centered. We have already done that, right? And then comes the list. So for the list, you should add what they have given. So we'll see how to do a list, right? So you have an unordered list, right? And you can close it also, right? Then we have to have the list items. So this is the basic structure, how it will look. So this is the list item 1. For the list item 2, we can have another one like this. So that is how it will work. Otherwise, if you see this one, you will think, okay, oh, it's very hard and all. So for the list, first list item, I hope you remember it is this one, right? Bees have 5 eyes. There. So this is what I need, right? So this is the first list item. So in that one, they have make it H3 one with the italic and the font color. So very simple. So this thing, they have make it H3 header, right? You have to close each of these things which you opened up, right? H3 tag is there. And then you want to make it italic. To make it italic, you use I, right? And then the font color. So font color, they have basically used a primary thing like the blue. And actually, they have forgot to close it, right? So you have to close it as well. Right? So this is the first list item, right? Again, what they have done is they have used another list item with the green color, right? So then now for this list item, again it says 3 header, right? So we'll close as well, right? So H3, and then it should be italic, right? And it should have the font color of different. They have actually for the list items, they have different font colors. So this one is actually orange, right? So then you can type what's the text you need to have. Right? So this thing you can copy and have different things. For example, this should be red, and this particular text you can change. Yeah. I have done the list items. After that, after the UL, they have included another H4 header, which is centered, and they just tell back to home. And you have to close the center, and there is a href thing, anchor tag also closed, so don't worry about it. It's a printing mistake at this point. We'll see how it works in the next part. So yes, so let me save it, yeah, and open this up. So these are the two images I took. Now can you see if I because I put the images in a different place, right? My bees fact is actually here. So in this place, you cannot see that flower and bee, that are other images. That is why um, it will look like this. So no images. Can you see? So what I have to do is I have to take this one to this place where my flower and honey images are also there. So when I refresh it now, so now I have these two images because my HTML file and images are in the same place because I gave the path like that. That's why. Otherwise, you cannot give whatever the path you want, right? Okay. Then they want to talk about the hyperlinks, right? So hope you know about hyperlinks, like from a one page to another, or for external URL, you can navigate through a hyperlink. So we already have developed bees.html and bfacts.html. So what they want is like from the bees.html, there was something called more about bees. So when you click that, they want to go for a new page, that what we have already done, the bee facts. And from the B facts, when you click back to home, they want to navigate back to the bees.html. So for this hyperlinks, we have to use this anchor tag, right? In the anchor tag, there's something called href. So you tell what is the web page you want to go. So for this href, actually, you can give an external link like www.google.com, something like that as well, with the HTTP full thing. Or you can give some internal file. Now, we have already developed these two files. Let's see how we are going to change it. Now, for example, this is my bees.html, right? So actually there is a small printing mistake here. From bees.html, we have more about bees. From that, you have to go for this one. So there's actually a small mistake here. So in this one, more about bees, we have to do the change accordingly. So here I'm adding the anchor tag. I'm telling, okay, I want to go for the other page I have developed. Right. So this is my beast.html. So this is a printing mistake. So you have to do it accordingly. This is href, right? And I have to close it as well. My anchor tag. So this is the notepad I'm using. Right. So let me save it. And this is the notepad plus plus. Right. So you can see the font colors and navigation is a bit easier. So you can use whatever you want. Notepad plus plus, most probably you have to download it and use it. Notepad, it may be there in your machine already. Okay. So I forgot to tell it. And here, this is the bfacts HTML. So this one should navigate. When I click back to home, it should navigate to my piece.html. So that's what I'm telling. Here it should be href, and you have to give piece.html, and you have to close it. Okay. Then you have to save both files, and then we'll see how it's going to work. Let me open up HTML. So from this, I will be navigating to this page, bfacts. So can you see back to home is there? And I can click this and go back to my first page, bees.html. So that is how the navigation will work, right? So if you see, when you go here, you can see down here, what is the particular URL, like this, okay? So definitely, um, you can have external website URLs as well for this anchor tag. Yeah. So activity 6.6. So they're asking you to find more information and have more pages to that website, and do it in a, like a website, create a website, okay, with a lot of web pages. So activity 6.7, they have given a nice web page for you. We have a headers, images, and we have some paragraphs, and we have a list. So this is an unordered list, right? You can see bullets. If it is 1, 2, 3, 4, like A, O, A, B, C, D, like that, it's a ordered list. You have to use OL. So this is a just a bullet. So this is a unordered list. And here there's a hyperlink. And in the exam, usually you can expect something like this to fill the blanks, right? Okay. So let's start filling this up. So here HTML starting tag, and you should have HTML end tag. Then what's the next thing? It should be head. So you should know it should be the head tag. And can you see head tag is already closed here. So that's how it is happening. And the body, here you have the body tag and you have to close it. Right? So that's the basic structure. And in the header part, we have the title. So here the closing tag is there. So you should have the title tag here. Right? Even without looking at the web page, you can fill these parts, right? And yeah, body starts. And here we have the header, right? So can you see header H1, this is open. Actually, this should be H1. You are opening and closing the same thing. And font is already closed. So this should be center based on the tags, if you just think, right? So anyway, if you think the beautiful waterfalls in Sri Lanka, it's a centered. It's not centered, actually. This is wrong. So it should be centered. Right? This is not centered at least. This is actually left aligned. So if you are centered this, it should come in this way. But according to this filling thing, we have to put center because otherwise this is closing and ending tags. Then we have again a center. And what is this? It's an image. So in the image, we have the source attribute as well, where it will tell what is the image you are going to do. right? And then we have a paragraph and H2 and it's a green something. So if you check carefully, it is centered and this is the font which has opened. So just you can go with the font and this is actually font color. You have to have the particular attribute as well. So font is open, font is closed. And what is the paragraph tag? This should be closed. This is wrong, right? And then this H2 header, you have to close, right? Yeah. Then there's a H2, it's open and close, and this is the UL. Can you see? Actually, they have an unordered list on top of bullet. So this one is a ordered list. So ordered list open up and closed up here. And usually you have list items. Can you see? You have to close it. So here it's something missing for the list item, right? And here you have to close some of these list items, right? And here again, Adung in the false is italic one. So it's also missing here. So you can start and end accordingly. So always check the starting and ending tags, then it's very easy. Then we have a more falls and more about waterfalls. You can see here we have a hyperlink, right? It's a blue color underlined one. So here it should be a anchor tag. Href is the attribute path. So you open it, you have italic centered, right? And what is the closing thing? Italic and href has closed. So center should be closed here. Very easy. Even if you don't understand much about the how to map it one to one, by just looking at the starting and ending tags, you can fill this up. But please have some understanding, right? For example, here there's a mistake. So this H1 header is centered, but in the picture it's not centered. So please have some proper understanding when you're doing it. And there are a few printing mistakes also we found while we are doing it. Yeah, so that's the end of this particular chapter. So grade 8, full syllabus have been covered, full textbook and full workbook. So I think you can easily get marks more than 90 by referring this. And you do your studies as well. So it's not a hard thing, right? Okay, so thank you very much. So if you haven't subscribed my channel still, please do subscribe. Please add any comment, right? Any feedback you want to share, any improvements you had from your end, some improvements what I can do. So please share those things and share these videos with your friends also because this is something totally free, right? For you. So thank you very much.